Hey y'all, Straight to More back here again, and you're probably wondering, where are you? I'm in the living room, and the reason why is because here in Nashville, Tennessee, it has been extremely hot over the past couple days. Really, I think this summer is apparently going to be super hot. I mean, we're supposed to be approaching 100 degrees, even 100 degrees plus pretty soon. However, I want to make a video, and this will be a reminder, right? And with this reminder, I want to talk about something that I didn't know that I had in common with this person, this historical figure. Now, if you haven't thought about it, which you probably haven't thought about it, who am I referring to? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, this is a person that I don't think I've ever talked about on my channel, but recently in college, I am a sophomore now, but when I was in college for that freshman year, we were reading about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And in one of his speeches, he referred to the concept of expanding your mind. And that was something that I had always been into. I had always been to the concept of expanding the mind and looking into the psychology of human beings, the way we think, how we think. And it's also even influenced what I'm pursuing now as a college student. My major was simply computer science. Now it's going to be data science and psychology, and I'll also be pursuing an art minor. So I'll be double majoring now in data science and psychology, and I'll be pursuing an art minor as well. And just a little update on that as well. Data science is a slight change from computer science. I'm still practically in the field of computer science, but just a little bit more data oriented, data focused, which I actually do feel like applies to me. And as I said as well, I'm sorry for using as well a lot, but as I said, I will be eventually talking about my college experience, my freshman year, and really just different words of advice and such and those forth and yada, 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 yada. However, to get back on track with what we're talking about today, when it comes to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in this speech, and I'll try to find this speech if I have time, he was referencing, like I said, the concept of expanding your mind. And I've always been a big heckler for expanding the mind and telling people, hey, find other hobbies, find something to do, keep your mind active, work mentally, work physically, keep at it, right? And I know keep at it is kind of vague, but if I say keep at it, what is that most likely referencing? It's most likely referencing life. And the reason why I want to add this emphasis on the concept of expanding your mind is because your mind is an open area. I've always seen the mind as this open, malleable, in other words, this stretchable thing, this surface, right? If I could truly paint the mind to be a physical thing, I would paint it as simply a blank white canvas. Now, the reason why I say I would paint it as a blank white canvas is because the way the mind works is it's literally just this blank canvas that you're constantly working at, right? And it's slowly expanding. You're adding more here, you're adding a little bit more there, you're adding a little bit more color there, you're taking a couple strokes there, and you're further deepening and causing and creating more expression to that canvas, right? And the reason why I take that comparison is because an art canvas or a blank white canvas, even a blank black canvas, the thing about both of those things is that they start off as something blank. They start off as something rather simple. They start off as practically nothing. And when we're born into this world, we are born with simply nothing. I mean, we aren't born with much knowledge or wisdom of the world or the people around us. We're practically, we just don't know. We don't know what we are. We're practically not even really familiar with our existence until when? The later stages of our life, which are like, what, I don't know. I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, I'm no expert, but even from my own experience from living for, 19 years so far, if you think about it, you're mainly conscious of your existence when you're about what, maybe 2, 3, 4, just a little bit before you're starting school. So maybe around like the age of 2 is when you finally understand your consciousness, right? And when you understand that you are finally a conscious being, you eventually do what? You work at your consciousness. In other words, you work at your surroundings. You work at the things around you, right? You try to expand your mind. Your mother or your father may teach you how to read, how to say father, how to say mama, mother, papa, dada, mama, whatever. Like, you're taught how to crawl. You're taught how to walk, right? Or maybe you're not taught how to crawl, but you know, you're taught how to walk, right? You eventually learn how to ride a bike. You eventually learn how to, I don't know, you maybe learn how to speak another language. You know, I think about even, and I hope I don't offend anyone when I say this, and I don't mean to offend anyone or you know, say anything the wrong way. I think about immigrants, you know, and I'm not talking about specifically just Hispanic immigrants, but immigrants of all kinds and all lives and all pathways and different parts around the world. When they come to another country, or I think about the U.S. especially, right? That kid is already given a responsibility, already given a job to know 2 languages. And that kid will help their parent with 1 language, and that kid will know, really, you know, that kid will be bilingual almost automatically. And it's something that's fascinated me over the past couple of days because I work in retail, and I always experience this because the demographic of the store that I work at, there's definitely African Americans, there are Caucasians, there's Hispanic, there's Asians, there's practically a little bit everyone. You know, our customers are literally comprised of many different ethnic backgrounds. But I think about especially these Hispanic immigrants and these Hispanic children because they usually have to translate, and they translate for me. But then also the irony is that sometimes some of these people don't know that I know what they're saying. The reason why is because I took Spanish for elementary Spanish for 2 years. You know, elementary Spanish 1 and elementary Spanish 2. I took that for 1 year in college, which was my freshman year. I wanted to say elementary Spanish 3, but our college took it away. But if you really pick up on what I just explained, you understand there's about 3 expansions of the mind taking place. You have me, which, you know, I not only studied Spanish for that year, also studied Latin for 3 years in high school. And so that's an expansion of my mind. I'm able to use this other language, this newer language, and I'm able to relate that to my current work. But then you have this kid here that knows 2 languages, you know, bilingual. And that kid will probably be bilingual fluently in both of those languages pretty quick. That's expanding their mind. The parents there, that's expanding their mind because they can see what's taking place with this exchange of language, right? Languages. And like I said, that's a quick example, but the reality is that simply put, that mind is being expanded. So I want to remind you all, look, expand your mind, learn new things, participate in new things, as long as they're positive and healthy as well. Let me say that. Because there are a lot of things that you can expand your mind, or there are a lot of things that you can, what's the way that I put it? There are a lot of things that you can expose your mind to, you know, and there are certain things that maybe I would say I probably regret exposing my mind to, but I feel like all of us at one point in time have regret seeing something because it can be mentally scarring, right? And it might take a while for that mental image to get out of your head, right? You almost have to snap it out. You almost want to just literally reach inside your mind or reach inside your head, just pluck it out, right? And you just want to say, hey, I'm done with you. I never want to see you again. Shoo, out of my life, right? But the reality is that the mind doesn't work like that. The mind practically has a life and mind of its own. And that's definitely another video I can even talk about. But the reality is that you definitely want to be conscious of what you expand your mind with. You know, you want to be conscious of what you expose your mind to. And I want to encourage you all to participate in new activities, build new hobbies. Don't just sit around, you know, try not to just sit around and do nothing and be bored with your life. You know, that's something that I've tried to really shy away from. And that's something that I'm trying to do every day, you know, whether it's reading more often, making YouTube videos again, whether it's just, you know, getting outside and finding something to do, you know, and I'm going to explain this as well. You know, the reason why I talk about expanding your mind is because I'm known as a jack of all trades. And don't get me wrong, but being a jack of all trades can be beneficial, but it comes with some drawbacks. For example, like when it comes to me, I can sing, I can rap. I'm not bragging when I say this, you all. Like, I'm not bragging or anything like that. I'm not trying to sound cocky. I'm not trying to brag or make me seem like the most intelligent man in the world or specimen that's ever existed. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just using myself as an example, right? Like with me, I can rap, I can sing, I can speak partially in another language, you know. I can read, write, act, or I practice acting, work on cars, you know. I write music. I'm a songwriter, write screenplays, write different shows and ideas. I write poems. You know, that's a lot. You know, I do YouTube. I'm a YouTuber. I've coded before. I am somewhat of a coder, and I'm not using those things to make myself seem high and mighty. I'm just using those things as an example to show you how I've expanded my mind. So I would like to encourage you all to do the same. You know, I really do encourage you all to do that. But like I said, overall, expand your mind, but make sure you're exposing your mind to things that can actually help you, things that will keep you active mentally, physically, spiritually, even if that applies to you. And the reason why I say is because activity is one of those terms that we sometimes only put at a physical reference. When in reality, your body and your mind can be active, both of them at the same time. I mean, honestly, let's be real. We are mental and physical active beings. And so our mental areas and our physical areas work very, very close-knitly together. They're very tied, right? So that's why I tell you all, be conscious and be careful of what you expose your mind to, but also, please, expand your mind. Just a reminder. Because when you expand your mind, you learn more, you're able to grow more in a lot of variety of different ways, you know. So all in all, expand your mind, but do it in a healthy way. You won't regret it. There's Trent Moore back here again. I'll see you all later. Peace.